welcome to Crafting on the Plains. My name is Jacintha and this is my channel about counter cross stitch, also knitting, sometimes sewing, quilting, whatever other crafting endeavors that I get up to. So welcome my friends, welcome back. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much. And if you're a new viewer, welcome. I hope that you enjoy what you see. If you are returning and you haven't subscribed, or if you're a new viewer, please consider hitting the subscribe and like buttons. That really helps me out, as well as it helps YouTube know what kinds of videos that you like as well. So I'm gonna just jump right into it. I'm looking over my pile here. I've got mostly cross stitch, but I have just a little bit of knitting as well to show you. I am hoping that you cannot hear the thunder and the lightning. Well, you can't hear lightning, but I'm hoping you can hear the thunder that is happening outside right now. It's a rainy day, but I'm not going to complain because here in Oklahoma we have been needing it. So I'm not complaining about the rain, but I am just hoping that it doesn't interfere with this video. I am filming this on September 22nd, Sunday. I don't normally film on Sundays, but I just did not have a chance earlier this week and I wanted to keep some semblance of a schedule. So I thought that I go ahead and just film today, and my husband has graciously taken our daughter out of the house to do some running around and hanging out and stuff around town so that I can get this done. So I'm going to try to get through this before they have to come back. All right, so I have quite a few things to share with you. I have a finished object. I have got a fully finished object. I got a finish, and then I've got some whips. So I'm going to get into it. So my fully finished object, I'm hoping I can show it to you without all of the glare. That's probably the best I can do. That's showing you. Okay, so there we go. This is I cannot remember for the life of me what this is called. It's from With Coffee Crafts, and yeah, I'm completely blanking on the pattern name. I will post it on the screen and I will also link it below. But this is part of a series they have where they have these like arches and then there's cats. And then as part of they have a lot of these other cat type patterns. So if you love cats, definitely check them out. Super, super cute. I finished this one quite a while ago. I'm going to put it down because of the glare. I finished this one quite a while ago. I can't remember if I finished it earlier this year or if I finished it last year, but just towards the end of the Halloween season. So I didn't actually, fully finish it at that time, but I did go ahead and finish it this year. I finished it a couple weeks ago, but it was the only piece that I had framed to take to my county fair. So I decided to take it kind of on a whim, and I did not win a ribbon, sadly, but I was happy to see that there were a lot more entries in, well, not a lot more, but there were more entries than I've seen in the past couple years at my county fair. And so I was really glad to be seeing that. So, I mean, I would have, of course, loved to get a ribbon, but I also sort of knew that this piece was just one that I sort of just thought, okay, you know what the heck? I just recently framed it. It's the day. Let's take it down. And there were a lot of really amazing pieces there that were beautiful. I also wanted to give a shout out and a congratulations to the Okie Stitcher Hannah. She has a Flosstube here and she lives in the same county as me, which is what a small world. And she also, so she did get a ribbon at the county fair. And then I know that there's a number of other Flosstubers from Oklahoma. I don't know why there's so many Flosstubers from Oklahoma, but they also, a lot of them take their stuff to the state fair. And I saw a couple people, I saw a couple people had gotten ribbons. So congratulations to everybody that ribboned at your own county or state fair, whatever area that may be in. But I did not ribbon, but that is okay. I'm still really happy with this piece. So here it is one more time. And I will post the name of it and then I'll put it in the description box as well. And I stitched this with all the called for DMC. It's on a 32 count, 2/2. And it's on a 32 count witch hilt in, I want to say pearl gray, something like that. So unfortunately I did finish that quite a while ago, so I don't have a lot of the details on it. But it is framed and it is being displayed in my house with my other fall and Halloween decor, and I'm very, very excited about it. All right, my finish that is not a fully finished, but I'm excited to finish it really soon, is this one right here. This is Nebraska Prairie out of this book by Blackbird Design. It's out of Winds of Autumn by Blackbird Designs, and this is one of the smalls that is in here, and it is meant to be a drum. I suppose you could just frame it like this, or make it a pillow. It'd be super cute, but I am going to turn it into a drum because I'm very excited to have more drum finishes. So I just need to go ahead and do it. I had just been debating on whether or not I wanted to do the one where when I've done drums before, I've backstitched all around the perimeter, and that's how I sewed it up. But I've seen instructions where you don't do that, and I'm a little bit nervous, but that would also save me some backstitching. Because I like backstitching on pieces, but I don't just like making boxes of backstitching. So I don't know. If you have any tips for drum finishing, let me know, because I've seen a few different tutorials, and yeah, some of them tell you to backstitch, some of them tell you not to. So if you've done the kind where you don't have to backstitch, let me know how that's gone for you, because I'm interested in that. So I will probably just get up the gumption to do this in the next couple weeks, but here it is. It looks crooked because this was a little end piece, like remnant of my fabric. This is stitched on a 36 count wheat by Fiber on a Whim, and I stitched it 1/2, which I don't always do, but I'm starting to get into the 1/2 stitching, and I used all the called for flosses, with the exception of the fact that I'm pretty sure half of one of these little trees or whatever is stitched in the wrong color, but I really don't think you can tell. So I don't know. That's the beauty of samplers. Also, like, you mess it up and it's probably just a quirk, like, who knows? And then I did personalize the year because it had 2020. So I personalized it to 2024. And I did actually have to pull the 4 off of a different font set that I found online. And I'll link to where I get a lot of my free cross stitch fonts, because the 4 that is provided in this book was much too big. Like, it would have taken up a lot of space and like run into all this stuff. So there we go. That is the finish, and I'm very happy about it. And this pattern was fun. It had some eyelets. Yeah, it was quick, but it was fun. So my whip, because that was all my finishes. My whip is out of this same book, Winds of Autumn. And there are quite a few people that are stitching out of this book. I was actually on a Zoom hosted by my amazing friend, Salix Stitches. She's on Instagram, so I will link her Instagram, or I'll put it below so you can go find her. But she had been hosting a Zoom, and I think I was not working on this piece, but there were 2 ladies that were working on this piece on there. So I was really, really excited to see that. So this is my whip, and it is, well, I'll show you the cover image first. It's actually on the cover. It's this one right here. And it is called First Winds of Autumn. And I was so excited to see everybody else stitching on it. It definitely gave me motivation to keep working on it. So I pulled it out, and I spent a lot of time working on Nebraska Prairie because it was so close to a finish that I just wanted to get it done. But then once I finished Nebraska Prairie and I did a couple other things, I wanted to pull this one out. So here's where I am. And I've gotten quite a bit of progress in the last couple weeks. I've really only been working on it for the last few days, actually. And I did outline the crow's head just because I felt like it was looking really weird to have no head, and I finished all the motifs inside the wing, and I did this wing, and then I also started on the house a little bit, just to kind of, yeah, I think I had some of this floss, and so I thought, whatever, but instead of putting away my floss, I'll just work a little bit on the house. So right now I'm sort of alternating between filling in the crow's body and then doing some of the other more fun bits, because I do want to get that fill in done. So here's a little bit closer. And this one is on Picture This Plus Sand. It's a 36 count, and I'm stitching it 1/2 again. And I'm also using all the called for threads. I think I said this before, but this one right here is Weeks Molasses, and it actually is coming up on screen much more dark brown charcoal color than it looks in real life. So I'm thinking that that's why the picture looks so dark. But at first I was really not sure about it, but I think I'm fine. I think I'm fine leaving this. A lot of people though do switch out this color for something else like charcoal or something like that. So that's just a word to you. If you're stitching this and you want it to be really like black looking like on the cover image, then you may want to switch out your molasses for something else. But I'm okay with it. I'm happy with it, and I'm getting along with it, and I'm really just moving right along, and I'm happy with how it is going. So there we are. I would like to say I will get this finished this fall season. I would love to do that, but I just do not know because I am itching for another new start, and I don't know that that's responsible, but whatever. I'm actually going to show y'all the thing that I'm thinking about starting in case anyone else is thinking about starting it. So I know, like I said, I know a lot of folks have this book. A lot of Flosstubers have this book. A lot of other people have reached out to me and said they have this book. So the piece that I'm thinking about stitching is October 31st right here. This one. Let me see if I can pull a better image of it without showing you a chart. Yeah, there we go. So it's this one. And it's just it's not that big around. I think it's 76 by 75. And I think it can be done with one skein. So I'm thinking about starting that one on October 1st. So let me know if anyone else has this book and hasn't stitched this one yet. I think the pattern is literally called October 31st. Yeah, it's called October 31st. So I don't know. I'm really thinking about it. I really want to, because I have it kitted up. I mean, it's just a skein of black floss and some linen. Or Aida. You could do an Aida. All right, my next pieces that I have been working on. One of them is one that I don't think I've shown you for the last few Flosstubes, but I have worked on it recently. And that is this beautiful piece. This is, I call it my lace dragon. It is called something, it's like called Dragon. It's got a generic name, but it's from Author Embroidery Design on Etsy. I will link it below. But I have been stitching this for the Year of the Dragon stitch along, hosted by Fibers and Floss Canada and the Breethestitcher. And I am done with I have been done for a while with all of the cross stitches except for the little eye needs to be filled in. So right now I've just been working on all of the massive amounts of backstitch. And I love backstitch, but even for me, this is kind of a lot. So here is what I've been focusing on is this wing. So I finished up this wing. The inside of this wing, I still need to do like the little lacy bits on the edge, but there it is. And I will say this has been a little bit challenging because it's not always easy to see where you're supposed to put your thread. So sometimes it's kind of just like placing it and sort of guessing and then pulling it out if it doesn't look right. So this does take a lot of brain power. And so there's just some nights where I'm just not into doing this, but I've been trying to pull it out like once a week or so and just get some backstitch in because I would really like to finish this because I have another pattern. It's not this same, it doesn't look anything like this, but I have some other patterns that are this one doesn't have blends, but kind of backstitch heavy blends, those style of patterns that I really want to start, but I want to get this one's backstitch done first. So now that I'm looking at this, maybe I will pull this out tonight because I don't think I've worked on it I haven't worked on it about a week. I think I worked on it last Sunday maybe, but I love this pattern. And I also have worked on something that I have not shown you in quite a while. I have not worked on it hardly at all this year, and that is a tragedy, and that is my full coverage. So this is Minnie Ravenkin, and the designer is Selena Fenich, I think is how you say her name, and she is no longer with Heaven and Earth Design, so you cannot get this pattern from Heaven and Earth Design. I am not aware of another company that is stocking art as patterns, but if I find it, I will let you know. But this is where I am. So I finally have gotten to 28%. I think I was at 27% or 26% last time I showed this to you. And yeah, this has been slow. So here we are. And what I have been working on is there's a raven that sits on her shoulder. That's right here. So all of this 310 is a raven. And I think you can kind of see, I don't know, I can kind of see that that's going to be a bird. And so that's what I've been working on. And so the edge of this page is right here. And then it ends right here. So you can kind of see where that is. So yeah, I'm up to 28% now. And I want to continue making progress. So my friends, and I worked on this on Alex's Zoom, but my friends, Bree and Ashlyn, I will link their Instagrams below. They are also starting like a joint venture related to cross stitch and stuff that I'm really excited about. And I'll link all their stuff below. But I met them at a retreat, and they live in the same state as me, but they live hours away. And so we decided that we all have HAIDs. We all have full coverage pieces that we really, really want to work on that we keep forgetting to pull out. So we're trying to have like a monthly Skype session or whatever where we work on them and get at least a little bit of progress in. So I think I got like 300 stitches in-ish on when I was stitching with them. And then when I was stitching with Alex and the other ladies, then I got about another 300 stitches. So I got a total about 600-ish stitches in on this since the last time you saw it. And I'm hoping to put in another couple. I have abandoned my dreams of finishing this whole thing in 2 years, obviously. But I would like to finish it sometime in the next 5. I don't know. I really want to. There's so many full coverages that I want to do. I'm interested to know, I'm asking you lots of questions, but if you have recommendations for full coverage sites, besides Heaven and Earth Designs, they have lost a lot of their artists recently. There's been some things going on with that, but I would love to know about, where y'all buy your full coverages that are Pattern Keeper compatible, because it's a big deal for me. I'm not planning on starting any full coverage super soon because I do want to make some really good progress on Ravenkin, but I love full coverage, and there's some really beautiful ones that I have been planning to buy that are no longer available. So I sort of want to start window shopping again for some other options. So yeah, let me know if you know of any. Okay, I just realized I didn't tell you anything about these. So this one right here is stitched on all the called for. Stitch all the called for. Floss, what are words today? And then the linen is a 36 count Zweigart Winter Moon, and I'm stitching it 2/2 because I want a really, really serious full coverage on it. And this one right here is stitched on a 25 count Lugana by, I think, also Zweigart, and I'm stitching it 2/1 10th stitch, and I love the 10th stitch. I could not imagine stitching a full coverage any other way. Okay. Also, for just reference, if I ever don't say anything about floss, fabric, anything like that, please let me know. Drop a comment, send me a DM on Instagram. I'm not trying to gatekeep. I just am sometimes bad at remembering everything that I need to say. So please let me know. That is all of my stitching. That is I say it's not a lot of stitching. I think I got a lot done, but only on a few pieces. So that is how that goes sometimes. So I do have some knitting to share. I'm reaching down here below me to grab my knitting. This is my piece here. And this is the Little Miss Rainbow. And I keep forgetting the name of the designer, but I will link it below where you can buy it on Ravelry. But this is the sweater or the cardigan that's gonna be for my daughter's birthday. That was a big crack of thunder. Here is the cardigan for my daughter, and It's got a lot of ends that still need to be woven in. But as you can see, I am almost done with the body. I am on the edging right now. So I've got to just do some more rows of this garter stitch edging. And I did the pocket, you guys. It's not finished. It's not finished. But I'm going to show you guys because I'm really, really proud of myself, because I feel like this pattern, I don't know if I would do this pattern if I was a complete beginner, because I think that there's some things that are not completely explained. And I was not really understanding some of how they told me to do this pocket. And like, they want you to get like a straight needle. I don't know. They tell you a lot of things. I'm sure that it works great if you know what they mean, but I was not 100% sure what they were talking about. And plus, I didn't want to do it that way. The way I thought they wanted me to do it, I didn't want to do it that way. So I've kind of just like went with their instructions, but sort of made it up as I went. And so this is the pocket, and I have ends, which are going to have to be, they have a purpose. The reason I have these super long ends. So here is, I have this over my shoulder so I can show it to you. Here's the pocket, and it's a bit like loosey goosey weird right now, but it's going to get fixed. So here's the pocket, but it actually like it pockets, right? It like goes in there, and then it's attached here at the bottom. The sides are not sewn up, so that's why it's a little bit weird looking. But basically here's the back piece of the pocket. So there it is. And then what will happen is I made my ends purposefully really long, which they didn't tell you to do in the pattern. I guess you could just add in another piece of, yarn or whatever, but I would much rather use an end than, use another piece of yarn. But so, I'm going to sew it up like this, sew up the sides so that the inside will look like this. It'll look like attached. And then the outside will have the pocket. So it's attached at the bottom, but it's not attached at the sides yet. So there we are. I have less than a month. I realized this weekend that I have less than a month to get this done. And so I need to get a move on. Once I finish the bottom though, the sleeves, I'm hoping, cross fingers, that they will go quickly because it'll just be around and around and around. I will say I love this pattern as much as I feel like the instructions were sometimes a little bit confusing. I do love it. I love the details. I love the little pocket. It's so darling. And I love, it's got this like gathered back, if you can see. So it like gathers a little bit at the back. And I think that that's so cute. I think it's going to look really, it's just like a little touch that's going to add a lot when she's wearing it. I think it's going to look really adorable. So there's that. I am using Knit Picks in a type I cannot remember, Mighty Stitch Worsted, which is a wool acrylic blend. I love Mighty Stitch for kids garments. If you're looking for something that feels super soft, is machine washable, is durable, comes in a lot of great colors, and isn't like squeaky gross acrylic, Mighty Stitch is my go-to for children's garments. It is partially acrylic. It's 80% acrylic. I don't love acrylic normally, but on a kid's garment that she's going to wear to school, and I mean, she wears her handmade clothes, hand knit clothes everywhere. And so they get dirty, and I really don't want to have to like baby, wool wash and stuff her garments that I'm making for her right now. So I love this. This is the main color. It's called Blush. I don't remember, honestly, the different rainbow colors I used, but if you want to know, I'm happy to send that information to you if you want to know. I'm stitching this. I'm knitting this with US size 8s on my Chiaogu red laced fixed circulars. I say this every time. They are my ride or die needles. I don't use any other needles hardly ever because they're my favorites. So if you want to get into knitting, pick yourself up some Chiaogu red lace fixed circulars and you're going to be good to go. So there it is. I'm very, very happy with it. It's kind of, I make these for her every year and it's always a little bit heartbreaking how big they are each year. So like this is going to fit her and she's a whole entire full-size child, and you know, I will say she's going to turn a 6, but I'm knitting the 8-year size because she is quite tall. She's a very, very tall child, and she wears like mediums in clothes already just because she's very tall. And so, and I also always try to make it on the bigger side. I make it to fit her, but fit her loosely because I want her sweaters and her cardigans that I make for her to last her more than just 1 year. So for example, I knit her a cardigan 2 years ago for her 4th birthday. Yeah, for her 4th birthday. And she wore that cardigan this week. It's getting short, right? It's some like nice little bracelet sleeves instead of like full length sleeves, and it's getting short, but she can still button it and it fits, and it looked super cute and a little bit oversized the time when I made it for her, and now it's a little bit small, but it still looks fine. Her 5-year-old birthday, I knit her a sweater, and that sweater also still fits her. So I purposefully make her clothes a little bit oversized, but not like comically so that we get a couple years wear out of them. That doesn't always work. Sometimes she just grows fast. Sometimes I make it the exact size, depending on how much yarn I have. But when I'm like planning out a project for her, I always plan out to make it a little bit big. So I have had people ask me that, like about making clothes for a child that grows quickly. And that's my biggest tip, especially for like knitted garments that take a long time to make. I make them a size bigger, and that way she can wear them for a couple years. And I have no problem knitting something for her that we have to cuff up the wrists on, because then the next year we just don't cuff them, and it still works out because this is a lot of hours that it goes into it. So, okay, that is everything I have. This is a short one. Like I said, I've been kind of focusing on a few projects rather than many. And so that's where I'm at. But yeah, please let me know, what you're starting, what you're working on this season, whether you're going into fall or going into spring. And I would love to know what you're excited to be working on. Thank you so much for checking me out, and I will see you in the next video. I hope you get lots of stitching time in.